Hey, Neil and Teresa. It's been such a pleasure to read all these wonderful messages and to listen to people's thoughts celebrating your 25th wedding anniversary. Truly, what they say, what everyone says about you, the love you have for one another, the kindness and the respect you have for one another, I think it has been evident all along since the very first day, probably, that you guys met and got together. I guess that's where my story comes from, because Neil, I'm sure, and Teresa, you probably remember that Brock and I and Butchu and Raju, and there was another couple from Yorkton, we had come to Vancouver, I want to say summer of 2000. It was shortly after Brock and I were married, so I think it has to be that year. And we basically, for 3 days, I think, just partied it up and went out for crazy suppers and had a good time. And that was the first time we met Teresa. Neil, you brought her out one night for supper. I can't remember where it was, which restaurant we were at. And I know what struck us was, she was Teresa, you were very quiet, of course, meeting Butchu and I for the first time. And of course, all the stories that we had of Neil from his childhood. But I think what struck us all was just how respectful you were of one another. We kind of chuckled because Neil had to get you home for your curfew. I think once or twice, and we all thought that was so sweet. And certainly I would say that from everything I have seen in our limited times together, but from what I've listened to and what I've read, that just continued to grow. And of course, created two wonderful children and a wonderful life that you built together. So makes us all very proud, Neil and Teresa, to see you celebrate this anniversary. And we wish you all the best. Love you guys.